Technology developments. Let's look at the changes which are taking place. Apple could see 3 trillion market cap thanks to Apple Car. Wall Street is rethinking the treasury threat to big tech stocks. India wants to exit 26.12% stake in Tata Communications. Verizon amases 109 billion of orders for spectrum bond sales. Amazon ordered to temporarily close facility near Toronto due to increase in COVID-19 cases. We also need a clearer loss on technology, whether Google or Apple or Amazon, how exactly the content will have a reflection. What's the revenue sharing arrangements? What sort of code and privacy framework which we need to observe? All these are matters which needs to be clearer. Microsoft Chief Executive Satya Nadella said social media service, whether it is Facebook, Twitter and YouTube, need clearer laws and rules to govern whether controversial accounts like US President Donald Trump's have a place on their services rather than being asked to make a free speech decision themselves. So you need a framework which are socially enriching. At the same time, the integrity of the information without political persona comes in. Microsoft does not currently run a consumer social media service, but it is among cloud computing providers that have been pulled into the debate over the deplatforming of certain individual voices, social media accounts, and entire apps, especially following the violent riot at the US Capitol last month. So there is a tremendous amount of meaning in getting it done. In research, Client Group sees Cupertino, Kyiv-based Apple, already on the road to a 3 trillion market cap from 2 trillion. As the iPhone and computer market prepares to roll into electric vehicle market, that's going to be a major revolution around the world. The carbon reduction has been the focus thanks to climate revolution, which is now seeding now in right way, right direction. While the rollout of an Apple car would be, very likely produce additional shareholders value, Su also cautioned that margins still likely would be lower than on other products, as auto sector profitability in general is much lower. Suva has a buy rating on Apple. Apple shares surged last month as investors and analysts re-rated the hardware market. Long-term growth prospects following the report that it will partner with South Korean automaker Hyundai to build an Apple car. So all sort of changes we are seeing. So the message is Apple could see 3 trillion market through Apple car. Wall Street is rethinking the treasury threat to big tech stocks. The United States NASDAQ composite benchmark, which includes the likes of Apple, Netflix and Tesla, is down 7% since touching of a new high last month. The index notched 43% return in 2020 as investors flocked to the tech sector, making the stocks expensive related to the earnings they offer shareholders. Rising yields and the prospects of inflation hurt the growth stocks like tech companies because they reduced the value of a profit promised so far. And it is, compared to other parts of the market, like value stock, far out into the future. So a huge amount of opportunities in terms of return. Let's also look at India. India will sell at 16.12%, as I said, in Tata Communications National Stock Exchange. The sale will bring an end to the government's nearly 20%, nearly 16.12%, I should say. And it is a very long relationship involvement in Tata Communications. Panatone Fininvest and Tata Sons hold nearly 34.8% and 14.07% respectively in the company. The government, Panatone Fininvest and Tata Sons are the promoters of the company, in fact. The government holding was a big hurdle in the company's fundraising plans via equity, because government has got a say and they have to cast judgment, which means it was dependent solely on debt funding to invest in business expansion. So a tremendous amount of reorganization is going on. That's good. Disinvesting from the government. Government should govern, not manage businesses. Private sector should be promoted, and the business should be competitive enough without government direct involvement. Government to facilitate good business environment, ease of doing business. Verizon amasses 109 billion of orders for spectrum bond sales. Verizon Communications Incorporated has received at least 109 billion of demand for its bond sale to help finance purchases of 5G airwaves that it needs to accelerate growth. The company is selling unsecured bonds in as many 9 parts. The total deal size could be between 20 billion to 25 billion with the potential to grow. That's another major development. Amazon ordered to temporarily close the facility in Toronto, as I mentioned. So nothing is more important than the health and safety of any employee in any institutions around the world. So the closure may have some short-term impact on the customer service, and I'm sure they will recover as quickly as possible. So these are the technology developments for today's update, and we'll keep updating on the various global developments and the regional developments and the local developments in terms of technology time and again with the changing face of the world in terms of digital convergence.